It's Sunday again, and once more we have another game lined up. This time it's vampire counts. Thought I'd dig them out. These are the ones I've been kind of focusing on painting. There are a few more painted now. Just to show that I do actually do painting. So dug those out literally. So it's 2,500 points against size demon list. I think it's the same one you took last week. So I'm going to run you through my army. We rolled for the mission and actually got a battle line, so we weren't going to knock it, so we decided to play that. We randomly generated our terrain like we normally do, which is maybe why you're always wondering why I'm standing over this side and size I was over that side. It's just because we have a randomisation thing for our terrain, so that's why I got all the terrain pretty much, and I got that. So anyway, so the vampire counts we have 5 direwolves, 40 ghouls with a champion, 2 fell bats which I've just converted. They're like you can see those, but they're actually ghouls with Vargeist wings. So getting around to paint those things. We have 21 zombies with a necromancer, level 1. 38 grave guard with great weapons, with Manfred and vampire BSB, a Terrorgeist, 20 more zombies, 6 crypt horrors, and 5 direwolves. For spells, I have all of the spells of Law of Vampires and Law of Death, because of Manfred. And my 2 level 1s, the Necromancer and the Vampire, both have Invocation of Nehek. So that's it. So I'll hand you over to Si, see what he's got.
Okay, my army for today is pretty much unchanged from, well, it is unchanged from last week against the Wood Elves. However, as you might be able to spot, I have actually done something instead of play MMOs all week. Just a small thing, as you can see, not quite fully assembled yet, but for those that have got this kit will understand it's pretty detailed. And unfortunately my lunch times this last couple of weeks have been very busy, so that's as far as I got. So I'm running through my army. I have a 31 Demonettes with a BSB Herald. I then have an Exalted Seeker Chariot here as proxied by my Stonehorn. I have a Skull Cannon of Khorne, an actual real Skull Cannon of Khorne. My Keeper of Secrets, well hidden, even though there is no artillery. Ollie's a sneaky player, and yeah, I've got to be wary of all eventualities. Then I have 5 Flamers of Zinch in here, in the building. Then I have another unit of 31 Demonettes with another Herald. Then I have another Skull Cannon of Khorne and 5 Seekers. And yeah, that's pretty much the army. I have lots and lots of bits and bobs in boxes that I've been cleaning up. So I've nearly got 20 Demonettes ready for assembly. I've got that few in the unit. That's going to get bulked out. I'm going to get paid with all my last amount of overtime that I've worked. You should soon, I hope, be seeing an actual full unit, although Games Workshop have thrown me a curveball and gone and released what looks like an amazing set of high elves. The models are excellent. I urge you to go and check them out because they look wicked, but I'm really tempted, so I've really got to exercise discipline and stick with this, because obviously I want a real army and not just sort of 3 Demonettes and some Marauders, a large amount of Marauders. So yeah, that's the army, unchanged from last week, and I won the roll to start, so we will see you at the end of Chaos Demons turn 1. Okay, it's the end of Demons turn 1. Shockingly, I haven't managed to kill any of my own troops. I'm obviously not trying hard enough. So yeah, basically everyone moved up and around. I reformed to get my horde. That was a bit of a deployment mistake on my part. I couldn't quite fit everything in, so I had to deploy slightly less wide. So yeah, they're back to how they should be. Then in the magic phase, I rolled a 3. Then randomly selected my general, but thankfully, even though he's well out of the range of BSB, I managed to roll a 9 and passed his leadership test. Otherwise, I might have cried quite a lot. So yeah, then I managed to get a channel. Ollie didn't manage to channel, thankfully, so I had 4 dice to his 2, and I cast a strengthened up withering on the crypt horrors, and reduced their toughness by the maximum of 3, which is great. So they're now toughness 2 until my next magic phase. So yeah, then shooting. The first cannon basically hit. Only managed to hit 2 Graveguard. Unfortunately missing the big old lump there. But this guy, you see, naturally it would be the unpainted, unfinished, actual real model who missed. But this guy who then managed to, like a boss, knock 5 wounds off of it. So that was rather nice. And with that marked the end of my go. So it's now down to vampire counts, turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 1. I'd like to say it was the best turn I've ever had, but it wasn't. So the dogs moved up to get in the way of these guys. These dogs moved up to get in the way of that. The fell bats moved up to get in the way of the chariot. Just generally be a nuisance. And these guys pretty much stayed where they were. Then in the magic phase, I also rolled a 3, which was just awesome. So I thought I'd use Master of the Black Arts, and rerolled the 1, got another 1. So I managed to cast Invocation of Nehek, get some more zombies, heal 2 wounds on this guy, 1 with the Invocation, 1 with the Lore Attribute. Got the 2 Graveguard back, and that was it. And then I tried to cast Gaze and Gash, failed to cast it. With the last dice, attempted to cast Invocation, which Psi 3's 3 dice sack, so you also got a channel. So yeah, so that was a pretty uneventful turn. Certainly not looking that great. But yeah, so Daemons turn 2 coming up.
Okay, it is the end of Daemons Chaos turn 2. I charged the dogs on my left flank with the Demonettes, the bats with the Seeker Chariot, and then the dogs with the Fiends. Everyone else just moved up. Then in the magic phase, I got an average phase, rolled a 7, however I rolled a 6 and a 1, so Ollie got his 6 dice. He then made 2 channels, and I didn't. So he had more dispel dice than I had power. What was it? I managed to get off Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on the Crypt Horus, reducing their weapon skill, initiative, and movement by 3, which was lovely. Then I tried to cast Pit of Shades on Manfred's unit, but yeah, even though Ollie had 8 dispel dice, I rolled really miserably, and I don't think I got above double figures, so it was nowhere near a cast anyway. Plus, Ollie rolled 4 6s as well. So yeah, that didn't exactly go too great, but at least I got a spell off, which was nice. Then in the shooting phase, this, like a pro, oh no, I fired this one first, old semi-reliable, who managed to shoot and kill the Terrorgeist. Then I attempted to snipe Manfred, managed to roll a nice 10, picked out a zombie perfectly as I rolled a 10 for the bounce and then a misfire for the skid, and then rolled a natural 1 and failed to wound. So yeah, I can take out a big monster, but a friggin' zombie, hard as nails.
Got you with a headshot.
It's very true. I keep forgetting we're playing Left 4 Dead on what was it? Realism Advanced. Yeah, so with that out of the way, it was down to close combat. These guys wiped out the dogs. The Seeker Chariot had to work bloody hard on account that I either miserably failed to hit, rolling a vast amount of ones and twos, or to cut a long story short, I needed the last wound to be removed by the steeds, who thankfully did. And then over here, in a similar display of fail, I charged in and I basically only managed to kill 3 of the dogs, although thankfully he killed none in return and crumbled, so I got my reform. So I have been rid of his chaff, which was rather nice, and yeah, it was seems reasonably well set up. So yeah, it's now on to Vampire Counts turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 2, and starting to wrestle it back, which is quite a bad thing when considering it is only turn 2. I need to wrestle it back. Yeah, so charge-wise, I charged the Crypt Horrors into the Seekers, which thankfully they made it, because I only had a movement of 3. But, you know, as I found out playing Dwarves can make charges all day long. It's the stuff that has Swift Stride and Movement 8 that can't make charges. Right, so that was the only charge. These guys just moved back a bit, as it's pretty much my trademark manoeuvre. These guys moved forward. Then in the magic phase, I rolled a 7, 3 and a 4. So I kept that, didn't use Master of the Black Arts. With that, I raised some zombies here. I cast Caress of Leneth on his BSB, which he dispelled. And then I cast what's it called? Spirit Leech on his BSB, which unfortunately had no dice left. And I managed to roll quite high, got 5 wounds on him. He saved one of them, so I did 4 wounds and killed his BSB. Then I got 2 dice back from that, which was absolutely brilliant. I was very happy with that. And then I cast... what did I cast? Something else. Oh, I cast...
Gaze in the Gash.
Gaze in the Gash, yeah. And killed 4 Demonettes, just to whittle the unit down a bit. And that was pretty much it. So, a really good magic phase. Very happy with that. Loving having 14 spells to choose from. Really feels like you've got some options. Okay, so, and that was pretty much it. So then in close combat, he did me a wound, and even with weapon skill 1, I managed to kill 5 of them, or sorry, 3 of them, and then 2 crumbled. But luckily managed to hold on with one of them. So yeah, the show didn't kill them, but you know, I'm sure Si's very happy that he managed to hold them up for a turn. So it's never a good place to be when you're fast cab being charged by Crypt Horrors. So and that was it. So that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Demons Chaos turn 3. The Demonettes and the Seeker Chariot, the Exotic Seeker Chariot, charged into the ghouls. And what was it? Then the other unit of Demonettes charged into the conga line of skeletons. Everyone else sort of moved around. The Flamers moved out of the building. And yeah, then on to the magic phase. I rolled a double 6. I got a nice unit of, and then I rolled another double 6, much to Ollie's ire, and got a nice unit of 15 bloodletters. So yeah, that kind of was a rather nice little boon. Then in the magic phase, I got off Melkoths on the Crypt Horrors. I got another Melkoths off on the Graveguard. Then I tried to cast the Withering on these guys. Ollie dispelled it, and then I cast Pit of Shades because I didn't quite have the dice on the Graveguard. So yeah, in retrospect, I think what I probably should have done was attempted a normal Melkoth on those guys, with only 1 dice instead of 2, and then if I got it off, fine. If not, meh. And then that would have given me 4 dice to try and throw Occams on them, which I would have needed, which I'll get to in just a minute. Then in the shooting phase, both my cannons attempted to snipe Manfred, just totally missed. It was a bit of an untenable situation, unfortunately, because the way I placed the bloodletters, but they didn't really hit anything. Then, yeah, onto the close combat. This is kind of why I needed the Occams. The Exalted Seeker Chariot, you know, on paper it puts out a vast number of attacks. 26 in total. 27 in total if you get lucky. So I rolled 8 hits for the impact. I think I got something ridiculous like 3 wounds, which was, well, below average, but still quite poor. I'm a bit perplexed by the strength 4 of the chariot. I'm starting to think more and more that Matt Ward has paid a heavy price, or made the Daemons pay a heavy price for his shenanigans last edition. Because yeah, that seems pretty useless. I'm starting to struggle to find like halfway fluffy things to put as support units in my army at the moment. I don't particularly like the Blood Crushers. The Plague Drones in this kind of list aren't particularly useful.
I quite like the Fiends.
Yeah, I'm looking, probably going to have to go. I'll have to start looking at Fiends. Yeah, I think you're right, because yeah, this chariot just didn't cut the mustard. Because as you can see, I won the combat, even though these girls did lose 6 of their number. There is still a sizable chunk of ghouls left, and yeah, I won the combat by 4, and he lost a further 4 guys. So not quite the epic kind of combat res I was hoping for. It's basically why I needed Occam's Mindraiser, really, because you know that could have been a very, very big difference there. But that's kind of the caveat to every use of Occam's, really. So yeah, it was a little disappointing. That Seeker Chariot is probably going to get taken off of the list of things to buy, because I don't even rate the normal Seeker Chariot, let alone the Exalted one. So yeah, I think Ollie's right. I think Fiends might have to be the way to go for this kind of Slaneshi theme army. So yeah, I'll have to see what happens now in Vampire Counts turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 3. I charged the Graveyard Guard into the 3 Bloodletters. The zombies just moved up. Crypt Horrors stay where they were. Sorry, they shuffled to the side a bit. I didn't really want to go into the Demonettes just yet because I don't have any magic support, because I needed it over here. Rolled for the Winds of Magic, got 9, 6 and a 3. Attempted to use Master of the Black Arts, just because obviously it's one of the reasons I took Manfred, just to manipulate the magic, just try and get some more dice. Rolled a 3 again, so I ended up with the same amount. So I got a channel. I managed to cast Soul Blight on these guys, so I'd written them off, so they let it through. I managed to cast a big, well, not a big invocation, but an invocation with Manfred, which got me back 10 Graveguard, 10 Ghouls, 12 Zombies, which was pretty good. And then I cast Van Hales on the Graveguard unit. Unfortunately I got it with a miscast, so it went off. I lost, I think, 4 Graveguard. Did a wound to one of his Bloodletters. Chariot past its ward save, obviously rolling a 5, so it was a bit close to losing my general there, but thankfully I didn't, and got off pretty lightly. So and then it just drained the rest of my power dice. So that was it for that. And then it was just straight to close combat. So the Demonettes didn't do so well, obviously only being strength 2. Killed very little. The Chariot didn't do that well either. I think they killed about 4 guys, and then in return I rolled like a beast. Killed 10 demonettes, did 2 wounds to the chariot, and then he crumbled by a further 3, so he's just holding me up, but barely. And then the Graveguard, Manfred attacked, killed 3, so he's got 3 extra dice in the next magic phase, with the Sword of Unholy Power. The BSB killed a few, those hitting and wounding on 2s, he did miss an incredible amount, even though he got the rerolls to hit. So he only killed like, I think 3 guys, could have had a potential of 8. Then the Graveguard attacked and killed the rest of the Bloodletters, but not before they actually kill him. The one Bloodletter in base contact with the BSB actually killed him, blowed him. So my BSB went down, failed his ward save, and that was it. And Manfred took a wound, lost a couple of Graveguard, but ultimately won the combat and just stayed where I was. And that was it. So that's the end of Vampire Counts turn 3.
Yeah, it's not a great turn for the Demons of Chaos. Very, very poor one. I had to charge the unit of zombies, so I did. Got them in there. I moved out the flamers. I moved the skull cannons around. Not quite enough to be able to get a flank shot, unfortunately. Magic phase, I rolled a 9, which targeted all Slaneshi units. Thankfully, the only one I did roll at 6-4 actually was in close combat, so that was okay.
I forgot my 3 extra dispel dice.
Yeah. Well, not the. Yeah, that's a good point, but
It didn't matter actually.
yeah, it made no odds. Yeah, then magic phase. With that, I got a channel, so I had 10 dice. And then yeah, I cast the withering on the ghouls. Ollie let it through, and then I rolled 1, so only lowered their toughness by 1, which wasn't really enough to make any difference. Then I tried to cast Occam's Mind Razor on these guys with the remaining 6 dice, and yeah, rolled pathetically low. I think I got like 19, which yeah was easily dispelled. And that then basically led to the problem that you see here, where I could only do enough wounds to cause a crumble test, which in itself screwed me over. However, if I'd had Occam's on, I would have at least had the confidence in knowing that he wouldn't want to charge me his coming turn. Now they don't. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the end of them. So yeah, it was that was really disappointing. Just a big catalogue of epic fail. Then over here in the combat, yeah, Ollie's ridiculous luck with the chariot. I mean, he was, he got what, 8-9 attacks on a chariot, needing 5s to hit.
Was it 6 attacks on the chariot?
Yeah, sorry, 6 attacks on the chariot, needing 5s to hit, and he was regularly getting like 3 to 4 wounds a turn.
No, he needed 4s to hit.
Oh yes, yeah, sorry.
Weapons skill 3.
Yeah, weapons skill 3. Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, he was just getting a large number of poison attacks, and he was rolling brilliantly, and yeah.
Loving the ghoul horde.
got absolutely spanked, and that was it. He did just enough wounds to kill the lot, basically. So yeah, exceptionally disappointing turn, and I suspect that's the end for me. Because yeah, I needed them to be Occams. I needed them to blow through the entire unit and then overrun into that, and then I would have been confident of getting some victory. However, didn't work like that. So, oh well. Yeah. So that is the end of Demons turn 4. So we'll see what happens in Vampire Counts turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Counts turn 4. I attempted to charge the ghouls into the Greater Demon. Unfortunately, I failed. The Crypt Horrors went into the side of the Demonettes. These guys just moved up, and Manfred withdrew back into the zombie bus. And that was pretty much it, because that's all I've got. Then in the magic phase, I got 3 and 3. So no channels either side. So I managed to cast I attempted to cast Soul Blight on these guys, so I dispelled it. I failed to cast the Van Hales, and then with my Necromancer I just cast an Invocation, just got a few ghouls back and a few Graveguard, a few more zombies, and then used the Lore attribute to heal Manfred a wound. That was it for magic. And then in close combat, the Crypt Horrors and the Lone Zombie fought the Demonettes. Demonettes made a good account of themselves considering they got attacked in the flank, and did 4 wounds to the Crypt Horrors and killed the zombie. But in return the Crypt Horrors beat up the Herald, killed her, and killed a fair number of zombies with their stomps and the leftover guy, and actually won the combat. So, but it was Steadfast 9, so held. Unfortunately failed to reform though. So that was it. So it's the end of Vampire Count's turn 4.
Okay, better turn for Daemons. It's the end of turn 5 now for me, and yeah, the Skull Cannons charged in, and then in the magic phase I got off Occam's Mind Razor on these guys, so I rolled a 19 again. And thankfully the dice gods gave me a break and screwed Ollie over, and unfortunately he only got 18. So I was lucky and jammed it. And yeah, so they were Occam's up. Then the combination of that and the Skull Chariots charging in left Ollie with a dude with 1 wound left, who still managed to take out a couple of the Demonettes before he popped. So I then got to reform, and yeah, that's about as good a situation as I can hope for. So yeah, that was a pretty good turn for me, and it's now Ollie's turn 5.
Okay, it's the end of Vampire Count's turn. Is it 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't do any charges because obviously it's got Occam's on him. So I just moved the Ghouls up and the Graveguard up, and luckily I rolled an epic magic phase, getting 5/5, and also got channel. So I unfortunately failed to channel. So I attempted a load of spells actually. I cast what did I cast? I can't remember. I cast Invocation of the Heck to get some Ghouls and some Graveguard back, so I let it through. I cast a Van Hels's Dance on these guys, so I let it through. Cast a Raise Dead, so I dispelled it. I was going to just get in the way of these or just mess him up, but he dispelled that. And then I failed to cast Gazer and Nagash on them. So I used my Necromancer, who had the Book of Arkham, to cast another Van Hales on these guys. So they're both Van Halesed up. So that's a bit of a meat grinder now. So I have to see what I can do with that. Yeah. So and that was it. So that's the end of my turn 5.
Yeah, so what went from almost having a chance of winning to 0 chance in one terrible magic phase. Basically, my only chance lied in getting those Demonettes in. Unfortunately, the way the rather ambiguous rules for resolving how things reform after a combat in a multi-combat meant that the chariots were basically nowhere near able to sort of charge in and get any attacks. Otherwise, a nice flank or clip would have been brilliant. So yeah, the Demonettes went in on their own. Basically, my only chance lied in getting Occam's Mind Razor off, and those hopes were dashed when I rolled a 3. So not only did I get 3 pissant dice, I risked losing my general as well. So thankfully I passed the general's test, and then rolled pitifully low with the 3 dice I had. So yeah, bit of a disappointing one, because then I think I did 3 wounds. I actually got 8. I rolled pretty well actually, and then Ollie needing 6s rolled 5 of 8 of those wounds. So yeah, he lost 3, and then yeah, just did like 11 wounds in total, and then I lost a further 5 to the demonic instability, and yeah, that just leaves with 3. So that's basically the end of it. I've got probably nearly 1,000 points on the board, close to.
I think this is about 500. It's 400. He's 530.
Yeah.
He's about 90. That's about 60 points.
Yeah.
So yeah, over 500 more.
So I basically to win, I needed not to lose the Demonettes, which I would in Ollie's turn 6, and I needed to crush the Graveguard, which just didn't happen. That was pretty disappointing. Well, it was a harsh one to have to deal with, because it wasn't as if my generalship was lacking, other than perhaps one magic phase where I made a minor error. Just went down to absolutely terrible luck. 2 magic phases rolling a 3, which did nothing for me. 2 average ones, then a 9, which very well nearly did some damage, because Slanesh, all my Slanesh stuff. And then, well, obviously the double 6 was really nice, creating a unit of corn guys, but they didn't really do much either. I was probably, if I thought about it, I should have probably charged the zombies and just tried to chop them down. I should have placed the guys, but the 15 corn guys that I got to.
Oh right, yeah.
But I was using them mainly as a redirector and speed bump at the time, so actually that probably wasn't such a great idea.
This wasn't really a bunker. It was just had a level 1 necromancer, and so it's not really much of a game, is it?
No, that's it.
The zombies could quite easily beat you through attrition, anyway, kill so many of them.
Well, that was pretty disappointing. I don't like losing games like that. Any other way it's fine, but yeah, losing to bad luck leaves a bad taste in your mouth, because the times I did get magic phases, I rolled very poorly. I just couldn't get anything going. And without Occam's, even without Occam's, I bouncing my 2 units, which was about 1/5 of my army, bouncing off of that unit there. That was pretty much the start.
Yeah, I really think you should have won that.
Yeah, just the Seeker Chariot isn't particularly very good anyway. I must admit.
That's shit, actually.
Yeah, the more I look,
the
more I look at it, the more I'm starting to think that, Slanesh builds can be quite powerful, but they relied far too heavily on magic to do anything. It's disappointing because, I see what they try to do with the book. I see how Matt Ward tried to write it, that you use the chaos laws to do stuff, but they're crap, really. I mean, sure, I can. It's not as if they're guaranteed getting stuff back. It's like, I do 5 wounds, and then I have like a 1 in 3 chance of each of that 5 to get a guy back. I mean, it's just not enough to make it worthwhile, when I could just take Occam's Mindraiser and turn a unit of Demonettes into a food blender, which I proved I do. Which works great when you can get it off. I mean, in the Orcs and Goblins game, 20 Demonettes work their way through a unit of Savages and a unit of Black Orcs. So it happens. Unfortunately, against Undead, it's a lot more difficult, because you've got to wipe the unit out rather than leave it reduced strength, because it's too easy to heal, and it's not worth. I mean, unless the undead unit is severely depleted, it's not worth dispelling those invocations. I mean, what's the point? Because the difference between having 30 guys in a unit and 40. There's nothing there, really. I mean, if you're going to beat them, you're going to beat them massive, and if you're not, who cares? So, yeah, it's a bit of a toughie. I don't know. I think everything did relatively well. The cannons, that cannon there, the bloody warp lightning cannon, he did really well.
I think with the cannons, they just suffered from not really having anything to shoot at.
Yeah, once that.
Although they did felt pretty bad against the Crypt Horrors.
If I'd thought about it, what I should have done was targeted the Crypt Horrors from the start. Because if I'd wiped out the Crypt Horrors through cannon shots, then I wouldn't have had half. I don't think I would have had half the problems.
Yeah, trying to snipe generals and that was just.
Yeah, that was silly. I should have gone for the Crypt Horrors and then just basically used these to come down the flank, because 2 of these into the flank of the Grave Guard, would have been great with a full-on face attack. That would have really hurt. But as it was, the way the combat had laid out previously, I just didn't get a chance. But it was a good game. Other than that, other than bad luck, I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of. I like the idea of it, but I think I might have to start exploring slightly different avenues. I keep saying I'm going to have a look at the tally list, and I think now might be a good time, considering I'm going to be coming into some severe overtime money. Might be worth diverting some funds into buying some Nerval just to see how that pans out. So yeah, with that I shall hand you over to Ollie, and he can give you his words on how the game went.
Well, that was certainly an interesting game. Well, I really enjoyed it as well. I think Si's bad luck though was pretty horrendous. By rights, I'm convinced that he should have smashed this unit of Gauls. Admittedly, the Herald was dead at the time, so he didn't have the re-rolls, but that chariot should have done so much damage with the Daemonettes that. Well, I was quite surprised when he did so badly against them. But yeah. On the whole though, I think, well, right from the start, I felt that Undead had a pretty uphill battle against the Demons. Obviously, with the flaming cannons and that, I knew the Terrorgeist was just going to die almost straight away. So I just kind of accepted that. I was going to take the Terrorgeist anyway, because I just kind of love the model. So I was just going to accept that he was going to make flaming deaths from turn 1. Plus the 6-up regen wouldn't have made much difference anyway. So if they were 2 flaming cannons or just 2 normal cannons, it still would have taken off that Terrorgeist eventually. So I kind of knew that was going to go downhill. But one of my main concerns was just the Daemonettes, because I knew that how much damage they could put out. They could crumble even a horde of these guys, like, pretty quickly. Particularly with Occam's Mind Razor on, well, especially with Occam's Mind Razor, or actually being withered, and that happening as well. So any kind of debuff, and of course Si's using the Law of Shadow, so debuffing's, a very real threat. But he just rolled really bad. So, he had that great matchup. I kind of feeling like I threw my chaff away a bit early, which didn't really benefit me. It held him up for a turn. And I didn't really get to capitalise on it because the first turn's magic phase was just 3 dice. So I didn't really get anything done then. So all the chaff served was just to buy me another turn of magic, because obviously I have no shooting. So I felt they were kind of thrown away a bit early. So, but it was nice to kind of recover from that. But of course, then he got this double charge off for the chariot and the seekers, not seekers, the Daemonettes. And I thought, well, he's going to kill this unit easily, overrun, and then suddenly he's, then I'm basically left with the graveyard to claw it back. But as it turns out, he just bounced off them, and they got ridiculous amount of hits and wounds against him, and whittled him down. Well, it took him a while, but they took that chariot out and that. So then, of course, a few invocations later, and they're almost at full strength again, being another threat. The Graveyard did really well. Like I said, the chaff were great. I really like the Fellbats, not the Fellbats. Were they Fellbats? I don't know. The 2 bats anyway. The 32 points flying redirector is just excellent, especially when you keep them near the general. I've just kept them by the units to leap out and redirect when I need them. Like I say, I wasted them a bit early, but because ideally what I should have done was left the bats behind, not redirect the chariot, because obviously the Daemonettes were redirected. Was just let the chariot come into whatever and die on its own, and then let the Daemonettes come in. So there was a bit of a mistake throwing those bats at them so soon. But obviously that's assuming that Si fell for it. But in the end, it didn't matter. He went for the charge he should have gone for, and it just didn't pay off. So I felt that everything did pretty well really. Like I said, the chaff held them up, so that was alright. Cryptoris did really well. The fact they survived so long was pretty good, but when they went into the flank of those Daemonettes, that was just brilliant. Killing the Herald, I was never expected to just beat them, but to kill that Herald and then hold them up for that turn was just excellent. What else? The Graveguard were just, they were just solid. They weren't taking too much damage, and they were putting out those wounds. Obviously the Van Hels made a big difference. That's one of the reasons I wanted to take the Book of Archon, because then I've got 2 chances to cast it, which obviously is quite rare to do when you've only got like a level 4. Yeah, and just that's why I wanted the 2 hordes, cast 2 Van Hels or a bubble Van Hels on the proper one, and just have the other one as a backup. So I wanted the consistency of hits, and just win through attrition really with the 2 horde units, because those Daemonettes are pretty squishy, and he's not getting them back. He basically has to come in hard and kill you in that round or the next round, because as soon as the bust fade and that, he's in real trouble, especially when I can regrow my guys as well. So I knew that was going to be my main strength. The Ghouls did amazingly well. The amount of poison attacks they got was just ridiculous, so I'm very happy with them. Even though they barely had any magic busts most of the game, other than that Soul Blight, but by then I think Side already written them off anyway, so it's fair enough. I really like Manfred actually. I've used him in the past on a cavalry steed, thinking, oh yeah, I'll go and chop things up and cast spells, but that didn't work out. But just using him as the primary caster, with just the sheer selection of 14 spells, is just amazing. You always feel like you've got the tools for the job, without really paying too much extra, because it only works out a bit more than a caster vamp anyway. I never really liked the idea of a caster vamp, just because you're paying a lot of points for a level 4 then, and if he blows up, you're losing your general as well. So, but this guy's got 4. He's got the 14 spells. He's got the Master of the Black Arts, which unfortunately I still don't rate the Master of the Black Arts. It's still a bit rubbish, but because it's basically a 75 point upgrade and barely does anything. But in order to get a consistent magic phase, I feel that that's the kind of thing I need to take. So other than just taking a ridiculous amount of necromancers and praying for channels, but that seems a bit cheesy. So. So he was pretty good. I certainly liked death sniping his BSB. That really helped. It was massive actually. So he's pretty good. But so I think the man of the match for me really is just the Graveguard really. Just the amount of they were just solid. They've never got to the danger levels of the amounts of guys dead. They just weathered it. So they're pretty solid. I really like the Horde, so kind of missed me Tomb Guard Horde, and so I thought Graveguard had definitely. I always felt the Graveguard were better. So, and plus they're 10 more than my Tomb Guard Horde used to be. So, and really the dummy of the match has to be my BSB, who utterly failed me. Obviously went into those 3 bloodletters, and 1 bloodletter attacked him back and kill him blowed him. So my 209 point BSB got killed by a 3 bloodletter on a speculative attack from Sai, so that was pretty tragic. Never really liked the idea of vampire heroes. I think they just get too expensive. It's hard to get that balance between killy power and defensive, unless they're on a horse maybe. If they've got like a 1-up armour save, it's probably doable. But 1 on foot is just like you're spending all your points on just trying to keep him alive, and then he's not really doing anything. So, and obviously fear bombs and that are no good against demons anyway. So not sold on him. Just a lot of points for someone. Although he was a bit of a blender in theory, he just kept rolling 1s, even though he's hitting on 2s, wounded on 2s, just so many 1s. So not sold on him. I think that's enough now. Certainly an enjoyable game. It's unfortunate Sai had so much bad luck, but hopefully that will change by next week. Looking at doing a 3,000 point game, because I actually have Sunday off, so I'll have more time. So hopefully we'll come up with something then, and hopefully Sai's either got new dice or just exercise some demons, because The dice don't like him. They really don't. Anyway, we'll see you next week.